So they're trying to say if you take that medication, and then what happens after the person started taking it? The sun came out, the clouds went away. I felt great. Okay, Giselle saw it. Shout out to you, Giselle. So I see the sun came out. Now I feel great. The reason why I'm bringing up that as example is because when you're feeling depressed or you're sad or you're internalizing everything, it's like imagining that cloud is around you all the time, right? And that energy, I'm sure everybody has been around at least one person who has been like that. It's contagious. That negative energy is really, really contagious. You come around and you're just like, ugh. You just suck all the positive energy like out of me.
What are some consequences of not allowing that space to experience your feelings? I know that we touched a little bit on it already, or like
Yeah.
you mentioned how we can snap our loved ones in relationships and stuff like that. But yeah, what would you say?
No, absolutely, man. Okay, consequences. So
Woo!
this can go left in so many ways. So many ways, right?
Yeah,
You think about
yeah.
relationships, right? I usually think about it in context of relationships to people that you have around you. Because number one, I'm not well because I
Mm,
don't experience my feelings. So for some cases, I had some clients recently, I had to talk about this. Sometimes I might over rely on somebody to kind of like save me. And
mm,
that can develop an unhealthy level of codependency where like I need you to help me deal with me. That's not good. That person's not going to be able to be there always. So we have to make sure that we can take care of ourselves. I would also say that in terms of us being healthy, when I was talking about the outlook that we have on life, right? My outlook on life, in my experience, would be highly, highly pessimistic, cynical, general apathy, meaning I feel like indifferent about a lot of things. That's not living, man. That's not. I'm, I usually like to make that distinction. That's like survival and existence
mm.
versus living. And they're different situations. But if I'm so used to just keeping everything in all the time and maybe I was never given that space to do it. So I'm learning for the first time, like a lot of young men are doing, and a lot of older men too, to be fair. We're learning in real time. What does that look like? How do I do that? I was always taught that that was not okay. So I'm trying to get okay with just that idea, let alone practicing it, right? If I don't get over that part, I can effectively sacrifice so many different relationships of the people around me because nobody's going to want to sit. Just think about it like this. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember there was a commercial for Zoloft years ago? Zoloft is like an antidepressant. And it was I wish we had if I could pull it up, but it was like the little stick figure. They're walking, their heads down, and there's like a cloud that's following them and it's raining on them as
I
they're
don't think
walking.
I've seen it, but yeah, go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
Well, those of you that in the chat, maybe y'all would have seen it. But anyway, so there's a stick figure, man. He's walking, and there's a cloud following him, and it's raining on them the whole time. And the purpose of it, again, Zoloft is an antidepressant. Depressant, obviously, meaning we're sad, we have low energy, we don't, typically move maybe as much as we would like. So they're trying to say, if you take that medication, and then what happens after the person started taking it? The sun came out, the clouds went away. I felt great. Okay, Giselle saw it. Shout out to you, Giselle. So I see the sun came out. Now I feel great. The reason why I'm bringing up that as example is because when you're feeling depressed or you're sad or you're internalizing everything, it's like imagining that cloud is around you all the time,
Mm,
right? And that energy, I'm sure everybody has been around at least one person who has been like that. It's contagious.
mhm,
That negative energy is really, really contagious. You come around and you're just like, ugh. You just suck all the positive energy like out of me.
mhm,
I say that it's a great day. You say the day sucks. I say I'm excited for the future. You say the future is terrible. For
mhm.
every positive thing I try to throw out there, you counter me, right? Those are some of the risks that we run into when we don't allow ourselves the space to actually feel these things and to address these things and to work on these things. That's why I always talk about relationships because as humans, we're highly social creatures. Even though those of us that are really, really introverted, which is totally okay. It doesn't mean you don't want to be around anybody. It just means you don't like being around large groups of people. totally fair. But if I told you having that cloud around you all the time because you're never dealing with your stuff means nobody would want to be around you.
Mhm.
I don't think you'd want to sign up for that. I don't think that's what you feel in your heart of hearts is okay with you. But a lot of times we just kind of settle for it because we think that's just the way it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
And of course, I'm here to challenge that. That's a huge purpose of why we're talking about it. Christina said to me, well, to be fair, you're a fellow therapist, Christina, so that's not fair to say. But anyway, we need that energy. We need that space, like it's good to have self-time to reflect. But my point is, in the grand scheme, when you really want people around and you can't get them because you've effectively pushed them away, that is unhealthy. And that a large part of that comes from the fact that we don't give ourselves a space to do that work. So I hope that gives sort of like a framework of why it would be beneficial. Not that you have to change everything immediately overnight, but if we don't put in the effort now to start that, those are some of the risks that we're going to play in terms of us as individuals taking good care of ourselves, and then the risk that we may run into with trying to maintain healthy relationships with other people.
Facts.
I know that was a long.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's
Sit with that for a
beautiful.
minute.
And honestly, just to like put it in simple words, do the work, and you're helping the world. Like you're literally making the world a better place by doing
Yeah.
the work within you. Like you don't have to bring that cloud with you, for whenever you go into a crowd. You
Mhm.
enjoy social situations better. You like the world is better when you're better. So make sure you take care of yourself. Make sure that you feel those feelings. That's really, at the end of the day, that's our responsibility. That's one of the few things that is really on us. Even if you do go to therapy, your therapist cannot feel your feelings for you. They can
Oh,
give you
yeah.
tools, they can give you information, they can guide you the most appropriate ways to go about it. But at the end of the day, once you go home, it's up to you to make sure that you're taking the time to do the work. Like I called it before, that shadow work, to really work on yourself, so that you can give the best version of yourself to the world. And
Facts.
and straight up, like I just I'm really passionate about that, and the way that you described it, I think was beautiful. Like I think it's perfect. It perfectly describes why as to why it's important for us to do the work to improve the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah,
I definitely agree.
absolutely.